Here we are.
Okay, who brought coffee? It's the pandemic, so it's BYO coffee. There you go. Marisa, cheers. Evangeline, cheers. B, cheers. Woohoo. All right. I'm not quite sure there's enough. Jonathan, there you go. I'm not sure there's enough caffeine in mine, I'll be honest with you. So today's show, Lapika, yours is a crossword puzzle? No way. Okay. All right. Y'all are just cheating. That's it. And Bradley's like, I've got iced coffee, so I'm cooler than you because my coffee came from Starbucks or something more sophisticated than mine. But I put cinnamon in my coffee, y'all. And Chris has some staunch. I don't get that. All right, I totally don't get it. So, hey, everybody, it's a little bit hard for me to tell how many audience members we're going to have. We're going to have some from China, some from India, and I hope my friend Sean from Singapore. I've already gotten one email that one guy in India is having a hard time getting onto Shindig. Welcome to our Shindig life. So we'll see how many people make it into the room or need help or make it into the room, Evangeline, with iPads and things where we need to just have them sort of name a number. So we'll play all of that by ear as usual. And like that. So y'all, you're doing such an amazing, amazing job. I can't tell you, this show is so much fun for me to do. And so yay and enjoy and have fun. And I'm going to get off the podium. I'm assuming this counts as my tech check, Evangeline?
Yes, you look great. You sound great. Fresh
Bye.
face.
Bye. Have a great show. Kara, maybe you would run the last paragraph of the brain and maybe let's do that section of Wiseman where we bring up the slides with Evangeline just for the timing of that.
Oh, great. Okay. We can do that. Marisa.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My mug. It's in jest. I haven't gone to church in years.
It's a good Sunday mug.
Yeah. This is a dirty chai. So it's a chai with a shot of espresso.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And some Baileys.
Yeah. No.
And I was like, what a difference from last night with my completely bare face. Here we go. All right.
The whole spectrum.
I know. That's where we're at. All right. You look and sound great.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's do Chris.
Hello.
Good morning.
How's it going?
It's going well.
Good. Yeah, this is I did the Grey Gardens musical and they made these mugs with Edie and all the raccoons and it says staunch on top. It feels fun.
It feels very appropriate for this morning. Oh, okay. Maybe I will. All right. Well, you look and sound great. And now I feel like I have to transfer my coffee to a mug because everyone has fun mug. Okay. I'm gonna do that. And in the meantime, Kara, why don't you join me on the podium? Okay. This morning.
I'm the only one without a mug.
I just transferred. You just say a couple lines here.
Oh, okay. Did you know that if your brain were a bit more robust, it could actually be hosting 12 wonderful memories for you? Instead, it's conflated them.
Okay. Can you, there's something that's a little out of sync and maybe try refreshing. Maybe. Yeah, because I'm hearing there's a little bit of like, not popping, but I don't know. Are you hearing that?
I don't, but let me try to refresh. Give me one second.
Oh, Kitty.
Does it sound any better?
No,
it's not.
I mean, it might be me, but it shouldn't be. It's like cutting in and out. Yeah.
I hear it too.
Are you hearing that?
Mm-hmm.
Should I should I?
Yeah, I wonder if you should try. And when was the last time you reset? Hey, Erin.
All right, I hit the wrong button.
Oh, okay.
I'm in a pod with Lapika.
No problem. I wonder, when was the last time that you like reset your router and stuff? I'm just wondering if it
Reset my router.
just because I don't know if it's an internet issue since there's also you're out of sync, or if it's a shindig issue. But the microphone.
I never reset my router. I don't know how to do that.
Oh, okay.
Is that something that I should do, maybe, or not really?
What was that?
Is that something that I should do?
Yes, but if you've never done it before, like now is don't worry about it right at this moment. Yeah, why don't you try logging out, logging back in, just doing a sort of restart sequence here, and then we'll get you back in and see if we can solve this.
Okay, cool. I'll be back in a minute.
Great. In the meantime, B, why don't you come on up here? Hello.
Hi. So this is purely natural light.
Wow.
My light is not on, and I think it's better.
You look great.
And here's my mug. I've got a giraffe on it. I love giraffes. I have a lot of giraffe things in my house. And I guess I should stand up.
Do your backwards check here.
Here I am standing up. Can you see me?
Yeah, that looks great. The morning light in this room is great, B.
Yeah, so I guess we're good for now. We'll see what happens for the afternoon show when the light changes through the show. But
sounds like a plan.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Whoops. Okay, Jonathan, why don't you come up here?
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. This mug was given to me by my homeschool students for Christmas last year, and from afar it looks like one of those like Greek whatevers, but then up close it's like dinosaurs and robots and stuff.
Oh my gosh, I've seen that pattern before and it always makes me laugh. That's amazing.
It's very cute. And how's my audio-visual synchronization?
Good. Can you just go to the back to see the morning light in your room here?
My shades are open right now. Is it too much?
I think it's fine. You just need to do the same little adjustment with your camera so we don't see the window.
Great.
The very edge of the window frame there.
I always like edge it. Okay, how's that?
That's better.
Okay.
Great. Thank you. Okay. Kara, can you come on back up? Let's see this again.
Hello. How is it?
I mean, I can hear you. It's like, it sounds like I'm not a sound designer. I'm not an engineer. I don't know how to describe what I'm hearing, but it's like something is going in and out.
Might I know I usually use my Bluetooth mic. Do you think that maybe I should try putting my headphones in and seeing if this sound is different? Like,
yeah, something, because it's not. It's like there's a skip in the microphone, which I know that's not a technical term. Yeah, thanks, Marisa. It's like we're hearing something very strange there. So.
Let me get my headphones. I'll be right back.
Great. Hey, Chris. Thank
There's
you.
Also, at least for me, I can't speak for everybody, but there's a delay in her like visual and audio. Like, I'm hearing her fast, like hearing her at the right pace, and then she's just taking a little bit to catch up.
Yeah, same.
Like a router reset.
That's what I was saying earlier. I mean, Kara has not ever done a router reset, so which could help, but also I don't want to. I just doesn't know where the router is and doesn't know any of that.
Yeah, no, I know apartment buildings are not always the most helpful or easy to.
I know. The out of sync doesn't bother me so much. Like that, I feel like is it's not so awful, but the sound, I don't know if that's related or probably is.
Hello.
Just say a few lines.
Did you know that if your brain were a bit more robust, it could actually be hosting 12 wonderful memories?
The sound is better. Like that was nice and smooth. You're still a little out of sync, which I do feel like is probably internet issue, but it's not.
So she looked totally in sync for me now. So
great. Maybe no, that's great then. Maybe let me do a refresh.
Okay. Oh, shindig.
Oh, the shindig of it all. Copy. Okay, just say like 2 or 3 lines in a row just to see what this is.
Nobody had it as easy as the Greeks. I know what you're thinking. Bullshit, right? Do you want me to keep going, or how does it seem?
The sound for me, the sound itself is fine. Like this is fine for show. It's a little out of sync, but it's not like that. That doesn't bother me. I feel like maybe between shows we can try to, figuring out how to just reset your router, and that might solve that. Erin, do you have a?
Yeah, it's actually sounding much better on both fronts. I would say that last night you sounded to me quite underwatery, and there were large moments of being out of sync, which is better now. Kara, are you using the same mic that you've always been using?
Yeah, it's my Blue Yeti.
Huh. Okay.
Same mic, same computer.
Did you change? Have you changed backgrounds or anything? Is the sound bouncing in a different way?
No, everything is the same. I don't know if this would affect anything. My computer didn't update. I don't know if that would change anything.
Did update or didn't?
It did, which is to make it work better. So
yeah, usually that.
Who the heck knows with Shindig? Who the heck knows?
I don't know.
We have no idea. Let's face it. We're just, yeah. You know what Ezra said, y'all, that I actually really appreciate, and I think, Jonathan, we should say this afternoon, is that what we are doing is really experimental theater in the real sense of that term. We are experimenting with a new show in a new format on a new platform. And I think we're doing darn well. Mm-hmm. I have to say, go us. But it is, how people say, experimental theater, and they do like what the Worcester Group has been doing for 30 or 40 years now and call it experimental theater. And it's like, that was experimental theater in 1973, but not anymore, So I think actually this is some of the whatever of actual experimental theater.
There's half hour.
You heard it here first. I'm going to get off the podium and talk to my mother-in-law, who's in the audience on her iPad from Cochin, or from nearby Cochin. Chris, Jonathan, Amma's here. Okay, bye.
So, Kara, I think we'll be good for today. And then when we're not in like half-hour mode, I think we should try to just talk, try a router reset and get going there. So,
perfect.
Cool. Let me get Lapika up here, and then we'll just have you and Bradley run those lines. Lapika.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good.
What is yours one of the where it changes? Where you change?
No, it's just I could fill it all out if I wanted to, but
Amazing.
I just
Amazing.
the mug. But I am a friend of mine got me this like owl tea bag. It's reusable, and so my owl is giving me some
wisdom
too today. Yes.
some of the nighttime energy. Amazing. All right. Well, you sound good and look good, and just Bradley, can you just come up here and say hello, and then jump into a pod with Lapika and Kara to just.
Oh yeah, and was there something with the timing of the slideshow that I was?
Oh yeah, we can look at that. Okay. Great. Okay.
Good morning, everybody.
It's Bradley. That sounded like you were blowing into your microphone.
Oh, did it?
Yes.
Do I sound okay?
Yes, you sound.
I said good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
You can tell I'm very much a morning person.
It's amazing. All right, so we are at half hour, folks. Yes. Let me. Oh, go ahead. Oh, you're fine, Kara. Let me get this thing up here. 43 images. Okay. Kelly. Kara and Lapika, is it easier and simpler to just run this real quick on podiums as you would in show mode? I'm not sure.
I'm right here. I'm cool with whatever.
Great. Let's just go ahead and just run this real quick. Kelly, you'll get your slides going here. I'm going to get up.
Okay. What you are about to see is a recreation of a famous experiment conducted by psychologist Richard Wiseman. Wiseman has studied the topic of luck for many years. He determined that many He determined many common characteristics among lucky people. To me, one of the most notable is this. Lucky people are very good at noticing things. I'd like you to take a look at this slideshow. Count the images, click on the question mark, type your answer into the text box, and press
43. There's 43 images in the slideshow.
Yes, you are correct. Can we take it back 3 slides, please? Lucky people are skilled at noticing and creating opportunities, thus generating their own good fortune. This in turn increases the likelihood of them continuing to live a lucky life.
Query about the slideshow timing now. I was doing it in slow-mo. Is there a world in which we can start moving the images after Kara finishes her line about with the direction to count the images? Because I think I've been getting there before her line is done. Like she's giving a line of, your line is like direct the audience, the number of images or whatever. And I was getting up on the podium before she's even done giving instructions to the audience.
Yeah, this is one of the things that happened last night. Kara, you also can't pause in those lines because we're timing stuff.
Okay, I know that I paused between one line, but the other pause I was waiting for the slideshow to actually change to the triangle. Don't do that. Like, because if I say count the number of images, I didn't see the actual thing pop up to refer to it. So I was waiting until I saw the slideshow change. Should I not do that? Should I just keep going despite what I see on the screen?
I think we're going off of you. I think so. You should do what you do, and we'll follow.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're waiting for Evangeline. She's waiting for you. Lapika's waiting for both of you. Nobody knows what to. Yeah. I think that was one of the things that happened, which is also.
Yes.
And Kara, I know that we've given you those instructions too about type it into the chat and all that, and that's kind of mucked you up. But just keep going, plow through it, because Evangeline will get there. But I think you've got to get through that text before we get to the number 43, because otherwise, and you have to start by saying, count the number of images you see in the slideshow. If you don't say that, no one knows what they're doing.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I don't have the script in front of me, but I think it is something like.
Well, go ahead.
What? Uh-oh, Kara, you're hard to understand now.
You can't. Can you hear me? You can't hear me.
I can hear you. Okay. Yeah, put the mic right in front of your mouth for now, and we'll figure out another mic check in a minute. But but in other words, I think you have to say, count the number of images in this slideshow.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
If you say on the screen, then people are just going to count the one image that's there. And if you don't say count the number of images, then no one knows why Lapika's jumping on stage to say 43. So you have to say count the number of images in the slideshow. Okay. And then you can say put the number in the chat box.
Okay.
Right? And then Lapika, you just are rushing on stage to say 43. So does that make sense?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And so Evangeline, then you know what your cue is there, yeah?
Yeah.
I just think yesterday everybody was waiting for everybody else, and we got flubbed on lines and stuff like that. So we all got in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
No big deal.
Am I good to go put some makeup on this face?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, bye.
Okay, I'm also leaving the podium. Evangeline, I have put into the question mark chat, doodah hoo-ha, a thing about the post show.
I will put it up there.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right.
Here we go. All right. Have fun, everyone.
I don't know. It's one of those things. I just want to get.
I don't know. I'm on a roll. I think let's keep going. You know, see what they need hydrated.
So I gotta see this kind of
Huh?
Did you hear my message?
What are you gonna do, bro?
Feels good. I decided to take I'm reading my Well done, sir. Proud of you.
2 years? I don't know. It's one of those things. I just want to get.
I don't know. I'm on a roll. I think let's keep going. You know, see what they need hydrated.
So I gotta see this flat finger.
I gotta find this thing.
He didn't go to before my party. Well, you know, and that's then they just tried
Can't decide.
Well, I'll just step out here. What? Down there. Yeah. You're right.
name, right? Huh? Pretty good. Friend. Good. Friend. How are you, friend?
Hey, did you hear my message?
What do you do? I decided to take I don't know. It's one of those things, man. I just want to get. I don't know. I'm on a roll. I think keep going. You know. See what they need high to So I gotta see this guy take
Welcome to Cabaret Shindig. On the upper right-hand corner of your screen, select full screen view so Shindig can command your full attention. If you came with a friend, click on their image to have a private conversation and see the show together. Up to 6 of you can join these private conversation groups. If you came alone, introduce yourself to a stranger and enjoy the show with them. Value privacy. Click on the lock that you see at the bottom of the screen and no one will be able to disturb you. Numerous parts of today's cabaret are interactive. Locate the question mark at the bottom of your screen and be prepared to type into it when prompted. If you would like to join us on stage, just raise your hand by clicking on the image of the hand at the bottom of your screen, and when the time comes, we will bring you on stage to roll the dice, which is what determines which scenes we do and in what order. You can raise your hand now or any time during the show. How do you roll the dice? On the bottom left of your screen is a yellow lozenge that says roll the dice. Double click on this and you will see a virtual dice roller. Choose the number of dice you want to roll, click roll, and tell us the number that comes up. If ever things get wonky in this online cabaret, if you can't hear things or things look slow, just refresh your browser. And remember, Dada is life with neither bedroom slippers nor parallels. The choice of these ready-mades was never dictated by aesthetic delectation.
He didn't go to before my party. Well, you know, and that's what then he was trying to action. Can't decide.
Well, I'll just step out here. What? Down there. Yeah. Yeah. dry throat.
Welcome to Cabaret Shindig. On the upper right-hand corner of your screen, select full screen view so Shindig can command your full attention. If you came with a friend, click on their image to have a private conversation and see the show together. Up to 6 of you can join these private conversation groups. If you came alone, introduce yourself to a stranger and enjoy the show with them. Value privacy. Click on the lock that you see at the bottom of the screen and no one will be able to disturb you. Numerous parts of today's cabaret are interactive. Locate the question mark at the bottom of your screen and be prepared to type into it when prompted. If you would like to join us on stage, just raise your hand by clicking on the image of the hand at the bottom of your screen, and when the time comes, we will bring you on stage to roll the dice, which is what determines which scenes we do and in what order. You can raise your hand now or any time during the show. How do you roll the dice? On the bottom left of your screen is a yellow lozenge that says roll the dice. Double click on this and you will see a virtual dice roller. Choose the number of dice you want to roll, click roll, and tell us the number that comes up. If ever things get wonky in this online cabaret, if you can't hear things or things look slow, just refresh your browser. And remember, Dada is life with neither bedroom slippers nor parallels. The choice of these ready-mades was never dictated by aesthetic delectation.
Huh? Hey, did you hear my message?
What do you do?
Feels good.
Well done, sir. Proud of you.
I don't know. I just wanted to say it. I just wanted to get.
I don't know. I'm on a roll. I think just keep it going. You know. See what you're knee high to a grasshopper.
So I go to shoes.
Flat finger.
I gotta find my finger. He didn't go to before my party. Well, you know, and that's then they just charge
Can't decide.
Well, I'll just step out here. What? Down there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir, I thought.
Welcome to Cabaret Shindig. On the upper right-hand corner of your screen, select full screen view so Shindig can command your full attention. If you came with a friend, click on their image to have a private conversation and see the show together. Up to 6 of you can join these private conversation groups. If you came alone, introduce yourself to a stranger and enjoy the show with them. Value privacy. Click on the lock that you see at the bottom of the screen and no one will be able to disturb you. Numerous parts of today's cabaret are interactive. Locate the question mark at the bottom of your screen and be prepared to type into it when prompted. If you would like to join us on stage, just raise your hand by clicking on the image of the hand at the bottom of your screen, and when the time comes, we will bring you on stage to roll the dice, which is what determines which scenes we do and in what order. You can raise your hand now or any time during the show. How do you roll the dice? On the bottom left of your screen is a yellow lozenge that says roll the dice. Double click on this and you will see a virtual dice roller. Choose the number of dice you want to roll, click roll, and tell us the number that comes up. If ever things get wonky in this online cabaret, if you can't hear things or things look slow, just refresh your browser. And remember, Dada is life with neither bedroom slippers nor parallels. The choice of these ready-mades was never dictated by aesthetic delectation. Good evening, my fellow citizens of the world, or if you're in New York, good morning. Welcome to the Cabaret Shindig. We are here this evening for a ready-made Dada cabaret. Dada comes from the time after the First World War. Dada was a group of artists looking at the wreckage of war, political upheaval, a rising right wing, and a pending economic crisis, and wondering what the point of it all was. Dada will perhaps be relevant to a few of us. Dada rejects everything. Dada is freedom. Dada is the lack of meaning. Dada means everything. Dada rejects linear storytelling. It rejects genius. It rejects the logic that led us to war. Dada genius, Dada war. We are here this evening for a ready-made cabaret. Marcel Duchamp, ready-made artist Marcel Duchamp, would take common objects like a wheel or a snow shovel or a urinal and place them in art galleries. He called these the ready-mades and said that they were art because they had been chosen and presented. He wrote that he took an ordinary article of life and placed it so that its useful significance disappeared under the new title and point of view, created a new thought for that object. Art is not just creation. Art is selection. Art is a point of view. Tonight, we present to you a ready-made theatrical event, a cabaret. Is this theater? You tell us. Tristan Tzara, Dada Tristan Tzara, said that to make a Dada poem, you must cut up an article, place the cut up words in a hat, randomly choose one word at a time from the hat, arrange those words in a random order, and voila, you have a Dada poem. And that is how we are making this ready-made play. We have scenes, and the scenes are parts of stories and narratives, but we are cutting them up and placing them in a virtual hat. And when I prompt you, one of you will come up to the podium and you will roll dice. The number on the dice will determine which scene we do. We will then perform that scene, and then someone else will roll the dice, and so on and so forth. If you have trouble coming up to the podium because of your Wi-Fi broadband width, whatever they want to call it, please type into the question mark text box a number of your choice, or WhatsApp me on my phone, and I will help you choose your favorite scene. We will do dances and songs, Dada dances, Dada songs, and like that, we will make a ready-made play, a ready-made cabaret. The scenes are connected, but it will be your responsibility to make the connections mean something. Ready-made connections, Dada meaning. Now, we're about to start. I will bring someone up to roll the dice. Someone who has raised their hand, Dada hand at the bottom of your Shindig screen. If you would like to come up, raise your hand. If we do not happen to bring you up this time, keep your hand raised and we can bring you up next time. If you want to come back up and roll the dice again, keep your hand raised. And now we need someone to volunteer to roll the dice. Welcome, welcome. So please, on the lower left of your screen, you see a little yellow lozenge. It says roll the dice. Click on that lozenge. Choose the number of dice you would like to roll. Click roll. Tell us the number that comes up.
The number that came up was 7.
7, first date. Perhaps it is untrue to say that life is a perpetual choice, but it is true that it is impossible to imagine a life deprived of all choice. First date.
So we do this experiment.
Uh-huh.
We take the formula. Well, several versions of the formula, actually. Well, 17 variations of the formula. Some pretty similar, others with pretty significant chemical differences. And we feed them to our different rat populations.
How?
Huh?
How do you just get them to eat it?
Oh, you lace it with this chemical, this one. It's really addictive to them. You just add one drop, and that's how you get any of them to in like any of these experiments. So Dr. Burton's theory is that, so it's long been established that human beings are built to create meaning, like literally inject meaning. Okay. Have you heard of the iPod theory?
iPods?
Yeah. Remember iPods? Like if you had a phone, but just for Spotify?
Ah.
Yeah. My God, I'm sorry. I'm all over the place tonight.
No, it's all right. I mean, I'm just trying to keep up. I mean, it's fun to try and keep up with you. So anyway, the iPod theory?
So this guy from Jersey writes into Apple, you guys, I'm convinced that the shuffle function on my iPod is rigged.
What?
Yeah, I'm convinced that it vastly prefers Foreigner to any other band. The rate with which it plays Foreigner completely eclipses the rate in which it appears in my library. And he's got all this data, and he sends them lists and lists of thousands of different shuffle results he's gotten. Look at the percentage that are Foreigner. I get a Foreigner song like 1 in 4, 1 in 3, even though it's only like 4% of my library.
Okay.
And so he blogs about it or writes about it in a magazine. So it's public and people start weighing in. Oh my God, my iPod prefers Jimmy Buffett. Well, mine prefers 18th century classical. Thousands of people weighing in about their iPod's favorite singers. Finally, Apple weighs in.
Yeah?
No.
No?
No, it's complete BS. It's random. The fact that people are finding predilections with their iPods has nothing to do with the iPods and everything to do with the people. We are programmed to find meaning where there is no meaning.
I get it. Like us.
Huh?
Like how we assumed we had to go on our first date because we'd bumped into each other so many times. Like how we assumed it was like fate.
Oh, I hadn't actually. Yeah. So we do the experiment where we get our rats to ingest a pseudopsychotic drug that causes them disproportionate amounts of dissociative symptoms in the hopes that it'll divorce them from this kind of self-idealizing that leads to the search for meaning in humans. And then we kill them and we slice open their brains and we search to see if any variation of the pseudopsychotic has caused shrinking in the sections of the brain that are hypothesized to cause this meaning making.
Cool.
My fellow cabaret goers, I need someone to come up to the podium. Anjum Kat. Oh, thank you. Hello, welcome. Oh,
hello.
We lost you. Hi, how are you?
Yeah, good.
Good to see you. So, if you would click that yellow lozenge that says roll the dice, you'll have to scroll down a bit, choose the number of dice you want to roll, and then click roll the dice.
Yeah.
What number do you get?
Yeah, it's 27.
27. 8 minutes. The creative act is not performed by the artist alone. The spectator brings the work in contact with the external world by deciphering and interpreting its inner qualifications, and thus adds his contribution to the creative act. 8 minutes.
I just realized that if the sun burned out right now, we've just started our last 8 minutes of light. Because it takes 8 minutes for a ray of light to travel from the sun to Earth.
So that means when we're looking at the sun, we're looking at the past, and when the sun is looking at us, it looks at the future.
What do we do?
I guess we look at it.
7 minutes left.
What do we do when it burns out?
Suppose we'll survive for a bit. What are you doing?
Appreciating shadows.
Hopefully some young intrepid scientist will invent a technology that will keep life going without sunlight.
Or what?
Or we'll die.
No.
No?
This is stupid.
6 minutes left.
This is stupid. I don't want to do this.
6 minutes.
No, there's no 6 minutes.
Why?
Because there's no 6 minutes. The sun didn't burn out 2 minutes ago. I like my life.
I like my life too.
But I don't want...
She thinks she has a choice. You don't have a choice. Things happen.
Not the sun burning out. Not in 6 minutes.
5 minutes. 4 minutes. 3 minutes.
Stop it!
Worried you'll die? Worried you'll decompose? Worried you'll come back as a slug?
I'm not coming back as anything. This is it.
3 minutes.
Maybe.
No.
Maybe.
You don't know.
No, I don't. Maybe, but probably.
I think when you die, you get to live your life again. A second try to see if you can do it better.
What will you do better next time?
This is my next time.
How are you doing so far?
Okay, it's different knowing that every time you do anything, it's your last possible chance to do that thing in that moment.
Shut up. Shut the hell up. Both of you. I hate this. You always do this and I hate this. I don't like thinking about this kind of stuff, okay? I don't like thinking about how I'm going to die or the world could end or everything that I know and love could be taken away. I like what I have. I like how things are. And I feel like when I start to think about it, like really think about it, think about how fucking temporary it all is. How do you not go crazy? How are our brains even made to be able to handle that? They're not, okay? And the only way to survive is to be in denial. So I choose denial because I choose survival. I choose survival.
1 minute.
Who will be the next volunteer to come up and roll the dice? Asha, Anjum. Asha, welcome. So if you can click the lozenge on the lower left that says roll the dice.
Yeah.
What do you get?
Okay, it's 9.
9. Unblind date. Dada is the voluntary destruction of the bourgeois world of ideas. Art is either plagiarism or revolution. Unblind date.
Is this a moment we're going to remember forever?
There's a lot of factors that go into that. What makes a moment memorable forever?
Oh.
I have no idea, is what I mean to say, whether or not this will be that for you.
Well, I'd imagine a big life event.
Sure.
I guess I was asking if a big life event were about to
Do you believe in fate?
What?
Do you believe in fate?
I've literally never thought about it.
Oh.
So I guess my answer would be whatever the natural default is for humans, if you haven't spent any additional time pondering the question.
Do you believe in this relationship?
Do I
Believe in this relationship?
like in the future of this relationship?
No, like in the relationship itself.
I've also literally never thought about it. So I guess my answer would be whatever the natural default is for humans.
I think we should break up. No, wait. I think we should get married.
Okay.
Who will come up next to roll the dice? Mr. Joshi, welcome. Welcome.
Yeah, I am.
Yes. So if you'd like, you can click the roll the dice thing. If that's giving you difficulty, you can just close your eyes and think of a number between 1 and 27.
Okay, it's 39.
No, 1 and 27.
Okay.
39 isn't between.
Okay. I just thought from there.
Who is your math teacher?
26. 26.
26. Ready-made film number 3, Drowning. My idea in creating Readymades was to choose an object that wouldn't attract me either by its beauty or by its ugliness, to find a point of indifference in my looking at it. Ready-made film number 3, Drowning. Who is next to the stage? Who wants to come up and roll the dice? Oh.
Hello.
Hello.
13.
13. Chance dance number 1. Now, cabaret goers, to choreograph chance dance number 1, please click on the question mark at the bottom of your screen and type into the text box a body part, a mechanical action, and a number between 1 and 10. Press submit and watch your dance emerge. A body part, a mechanical action, and a number between 1 and 10.
Oh, I thought that's an eyebrow.
Hello. I have received a WhatsApp from Bossy. Bossy would like to see scene 1, which is replays. Every action that seems to them an act of their own free will is in a historical sense not free at all, but in bondage to the whole course of previous history and predestined from all eternity. Scene 1, replays.
I wish my brain was a computer. I wish I could download memories to it like a hard drive and watch them over and over and over again and study them and have them preserved perfectly with the precision of a machine so that every time I watched them, I would see them exactly as they happened. Get to the point where I memorized them perfectly, not remembered them. Remembering is useless. It's subjective. It's mutable. It changes by the second with each recounting, but memorizing is precise. Oh.
Oh, sorry.
Wait, haven't I bumped into you before?
Huh?
Like on here, maybe?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Was that it? Remembering is useless. It's subjective. It's mutable. It changes by the second with each recounting, but memorizing is precise. Oh.
Oh, sorry.
Wait, haven't I bumped into you before?
Huh?
Like on here, maybe?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Was that the moment? Was that my chance? But memorizing is precise. Oh.
Oh, sorry.
Wait, haven't I bumped into you before?
Huh?
Like on here, maybe?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Can I get it back? Memorizing is precise. Oh.
Oh, sorry.
Wait, haven't I bumped into you before?
Huh?
Like on here, maybe?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Wait, stay. On here, maybe?
Okay.
Who is next? Who is next to roll the dice? Hello. I believe you know the drill. Click on the yellow lozenge, choose the number of dice. Let us know the number.
The number's 11.
11. Haha! Aleatory composition number 2. Now, cabaret goers. To compose this aleatory composition, first you will need to choose your instrument. So you have a choice between a a cheese grater and a coffee percolator. So click on the question mark and let us know which instrument you would prefer. Cheese grater, coffee percolator. Cheese grater, coffee percolator. Cheese grater. Thank you. Now, I need you to type an action into the box. Strike, bow, pluck, strum, shake, or tap. And a quality, loudly or softly. Press submit and await your composition.
Pluck, 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 pluck. Yes! Oh yeah, what do we have in here today? Oh, it's very deep in there. Oh, it's my childhood toy.
Who is next? Who will come up and roll the dice? Cabaret goers. Hello, hello. I believe you know the drill.
It's 24.
24. Ah, that is other conclusions. What is Dada? An art form, a philosophy, or a state religion? Is Dada really energy, or is it nothing, which means everything? Other conclusions.
My parents owned a knife sharpening company. We'll come to your house and sharpen your knives. I was never going to be anything but a knife sharpener.
I have received a WhatsApp, and the person who sent the WhatsApp would like to see scene number 2. Amy does believe in fate. Know then that now, precisely now, these people are more certain than ever before that they are completely free. Dada was a storm that broke over the world of art as the war did over the nations. It was an artistic revolt against art. Amy does believe in fate.
And what did you do the night before that?
I don't know. Nothing?
I'm gonna need you to be more specific.
How much more? I worked until about 7. I came home. I was hungry. I considered going out for ramen, but I didn't want to get back in the car.
Why not?
What? I was running a bit low on gas. I didn't want to burn through it before the morning. Normally, I just get some on my way, but I was worried that if I went back in the car, I wouldn't have enough to make it to the gas station in the morning.
You didn't consider picking any up last night?
No. I get it in the morning. I always get it in the morning.
I see. Go on.
I had a lean cuisine in my freezer. I made that. I watched TV while I ate. Deadliest Catch. Part of my dinner was still frozen, but I ate it anyway. I fell asleep on the couch, woke up at 11:30, took a shower, and got into bed.
Thank you. I think that's about it here. Just one more question. Amy, do you believe in fate?
Oh. Yes.
You do?
Yes.
May I ask why?
Well, because I want to be happy. I had a professor in college who used to say that no one had it easier than the Greeks. They could take literally any amount of suffering. They were so obsessed with fate, so completely enslaved to it that it was almost like freedom. They just accepted abuse after abuse, and they were okay with it because they had no choice, right? Fate.
Interesting. Now, would you say you have suffered abuse after abuse?
Maybe. Somewhat. Yes. What?
Do you have any idea how many people have sat in that exact chair? Any idea? And they all, every single one who says they believe in fate, they always follow up with that they've suffered abuses. Such abuses. The fate has not handled them well. I wonder why they believe in her then.
Faith?
I disagree. I would say ease.
Don't you have a judgment to pass?
Very well. Amy, I sentence you to a lifetime of unhappiness.
What? This is not fair.
Please calm down. This is a courtroom.
But if I had said that I didn't believe in fate, would you have sentenced me to great prosperity and happiness? This is not fair.
Since when does fate have anything to do with fairness?
Asha, I am told you are on your way up to roll the dice. Welcome back. What number is coming up on your screen? Or
5.
5. Ah, that is lab rats. Ho ho. Data is the truth, the sole practice of a realistic human. Such a person as we see him or her today is in continuous motion, brought about by simultaneity of events, advertisements, the marketplace, sexuality, common possessions, poetics, the economy, without superfluous thoughts that lead nowhere. Lab rats.
You guys, I've been thinking. Yeah! I think they're putting something in the yum drink.
Oh, they're definitely putting something in the yum drink.
It'll make me feel good.
Make me feel good.
Makes me feel like I don't understand things that I think I do understand.
Like I'm not me.
Like pain is bad. Like hungry is not hungry, but hungry is hungry. We don't feel it when the yum drink is late or it doesn't come. So I think it's in the yum drink.
It's in the yum drink.
I don't like it. And I think we need to stop drinking the yum drink. I don't. You aren't.
No, that's not. Yum drink.
Do you like how it feels? No. Okay.
But
Yum drink.
can't stop drinking the yum drink. It's the yum drink.
Why can't we stop?
How?
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 Fine. Not drinking. Don't understand. Just don't drink.
How?
When it comes, don't drink it. We can do that.
No.
No. Why?
We drink.
We drink. Shouldn't we? Can't we? What about not drinking?
Don't understand.
Drinking makes us feel not good.
Yes.
Well, I would think to feel good, yeah, we could not drink.
No.
Well, I'm not going to. No, I'm not. I'm not going to. You see? You see? I'm gonna feel good. You see?
Who is next up to roll the dice? Hello.
18.
18. Ah, you've chosen Dada Poem. Excellent choice. Jonathan is on his way up to do Dada Poem.
Yes, I am. And this is how you make a Dada poem. Take a newspaper, take some scissors, and choose from this paper an article of the length you want to make your poem. Cut out the article. Next, carefully cut out each of the words that makes up this article and put them all in a bag. Shake gently. Next, take out each cutting one after the other and copy conscientiously in the order in which they left the bag, and the poem will resemble you. And there you are, an infinitely original author of charming sensibility, even though unappreciated by the vulgar herd. We have a computer program that has created a randomized Dada poem generator from a section of a Tristan Tzara manifesto. Click on the button that says Dada poem to watch the poem dance across your screen. And equation, God that is, and those impotent until now by and the extreme satisfaction accessory to spit, profits, record, whole being engaged, a luminous waterfall, product for the harmony to be the of every social means are weapons, impotent, archaeology, the same intensity, obscurity. Lines are of those memory, the fight, action, Dada, obscurities, apparitions, folly of parallel lines, tense colors of opposites. Abolition means one's good manners. Other sphere, luminous waterfall. Individuals, lines are weapons, and unprejudiced church of spontaneity, the immediate moment Dada a roaring means rejected, the of destructive action, the least with the logic is whole and good. Up until now, good manners and equation, future Dada fearful with bodies, ideas like of parallel, a roaring individuals, is the a roaring of abolition of memory to one's church of archaeology, object, all unquestioned.
Cabaret goers, Sudabhasi has sent us a WhatsApp requesting scene 15. Last fight. To be a Dada means to oppose all sedimentation. Dada represents the complete complete absenteeism of what is known as intellect. Last fight.
I guess I'd never really thought about it.
Okay, well, that's not on me.
It really doesn't bother you?
No.
Not even the fact that
No.
none of it?
No.
You do know I'm a vegetarian, right?
There's no such thing.
Excuse me?
There's no such thing.
As a vegetarian.
Right.
What?
Do I have to do this? Okay. Your vitamin D contains sheep's wool. Conventional microencapsulation of your organic fish oil contains bovine-derived gelatin. Do you know how many field mice and rodents are killed using the farm machinery that harvests your Bob's Red Mill? You have a dog, Peter. You keep a dog as a pet. And you ate that burger that one time.
When? When did I eat a burger?
Oh, and for the record, you know those companies that claim that they don't test on animals can only do that because they wait for another cosmetic company to test their product on animals. And then, once it's deemed to be safe, they use it for themselves.
Seriously, when did I eat a burger? If you're talking about that 4th of July thing at Maisie's last year, that was a black bean burger, okay?
It really doesn't bother me, Peter. Really, really, really. And also, for the record, the universe tests on us. Someone's up there running a massive trial on all of us. Cancer, autoimmune, viral, every outbreak and epidemic. People like to say the grand experiment, like life is this beautiful, wonderful mystery, but I just hear, yeah, grand experiment because we're all subjects in the cruelest, most severe double-blind you could ever imagine. And no one's life gets run past an IRB beforehand.
Here we go. Everyone's out to get Amy.
Right, Peter. You wouldn't know anything about that. You just sharpen the knives. You don't use them.
Oh, nice. Great.
Oh.
Great flex. I'm sorry I'm not a doctor or a lawyer or whatever.
We all have to die eventually, Peter.
Okay. Even greater flex.
Eventually. And I don't want to have to die of the measles if I don't have to, which I don't, thanks in part to animal testing. I'd rather die in my sleep, old and unaware, rather than slow amputation of all my limbs, followed by blindness, followed by progressive renal failure. Sorry if that makes me some kind of monster.
Wait, what?
Because of my diabetes.
Oh.
Yeah. Autoimmune diabetes, remember?
I thought you said it wasn't a big deal.
And you believed me because you're...
Stupid?
Trusting.
Stupid by another name. Shame on me. How did you get it anyway? You never told me.
Random.
Not because of...
Random.
I'm not sure I believe in randomness.
You don't? You don't mean that.
There's more to it than that, I think.
But Peter, the randomness is the more to it. The act of imposing meaning is what makes meaning. It's our... Are you on your phone?
Amy.
Get off your phone.
Amy, my mom...
Get off your phone.
Do you know what she wrote? When are you and Amy going to get married? Tell me you don't believe in fate. When are you and Amy going to get married? See?
I think we should get married. No. No. Wait. I think we should break up.
Okay.
Who is next to roll the dice? Who is next? Welcome back.
Yeah, I am here again. It's a 5 number again. No, it's a 12 number.
12. Number 12. Yeah. Wait, I have to take this off so I can see. Number 12 is why the Greeks had it so easy. I know that all life is a series of infinite chances, which sometimes result one way and sometimes another. Why the Greeks had it so easy.
No one had it as easy as the Greeks. I know what you're thinking. Bullshit, right? They lived thousands of years ago. Most of them were born into abject poverty and died in childhood, childbirth, war of some terrible disease. Their lives were, for the most part, miserable cesspools of suffering. And yet, those sons of bitches had it pretty damn easy for three reasons: the Morai, the fates. Thanks to these three ladies, every life event of every Greek person was predetermined from the moment of his or her birth. After little Agapetos was born, the Morai spun out the thread of his future life, followed his steps, and directed the consequences of his actions to the councils of the gods. If he lived very, very, very well, he could hope that perhaps some major future catastrophe could be averted by a god intervening on his behalf. But for the most part, the events of his life were locked in place from the moment that thread was spun. It was done. There was nothing he could do about it. Basically, his best bet was to sit back and resign himself to enjoy as much of the ride as possible until starvation or combat or a kick to the head by his goat brought it all to a bloody end. Relief. I know what you're thinking. Because the Greeks believed so wholeheartedly in fate, it roared to life more intricate and psychotically harmonious than we'd ever see it in our day. These things tend to swell to be as big as we'll allow them to be. Oedipus!
Yeah?
Would you explain to the Shindig audience exactly what happened to you?
Oh gods, it was awful. It was prophesied from birth that I would kill my father and marry my mother, and my parents, fearing this horrible fate, vowed to send me away as far as they could, so that I might never associate with them, never carry out this terrible curse. However, such things are not inescapable.
Could you believe that he killed his father and married his mother?
Yeah, I was getting there.
That's why he gouged out his eyes.
Could you really look at yourself, at the world after such an act? Ooh.
I know you're not going to believe what I'm about to say, but hear me anyways. This man, Oedipus, had it better than you or I.
What?
Oh, yes.
Can I object?
Depression, anxiety disorders, stress, existential crisis. These are, my friends, what we call post-Hellenic phenomena. Once you add free will to the mix, really add it. Add it so fully and completely that it threatens any higher order that would preach fate or predestination. Human beings have a tendency to, well, fall to pieces, question everything, live their lives agonizing and obsessing in a kind of existential uncertainty, the likes of which this lucky bastard has never seen.
Okay, killing your father and having sex with your mother feels pretty bad.
Oh, I don't doubt that. But it is, for him, contained, safe and secure within the paddock of fate. Why did you kill your father?
It was my fate.
Right. Do you know that there have been people, real people since you, who have done the same thing?
Ah, the gods are cruel.
The gods had nothing to do with it. And those father killers know it. They kill out of fear or anger or desperation, not knowing if what they did was right or wrong, or even why they did it, or if they were justified. There have also been people, real people since you, who have...
No.
With their mothers. And not because the gods fated them to suffer, but because they chose to do it.
Who would knowingly choose such a thing?
That's what they wonder to themselves every day, even after having made the choice. That's what life is like without the gods.
I don't. I gotta go. I gotta I got like stuff to do.
He'll never have to look at himself and agonize in the mirror about why. Lucky bastard.
I have another WhatsApp from Sudha Basi asking for scene 17, which is conclusions. Dada is a state of mind. Dada is a farce of nothingness. Dada is nothing. Other conclusions.
And I guess that's just the hardest part of life in general. Meaninglessness, randomness, chaos. Sometimes things just happen.
Hello, hello. I believe we have one more. Welcome.
I got 12.
12. Why you should not study the brain. Our intention is to affirm this life, not to bring order out of chaos, nor to suggest improvements in creation, but simply to wake up to the very life we're living, which is so excellent once one gets one's mind and desires out of its way and lets it act of its own accord. Why you shouldn't study the brain.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, hey, I'm here to learn about the brain.
You've come to the wrong place, I'm afraid.
I thought you were the brain expert.
Sadly, you're about a day late. I've decided to change my course of study to something else, something better.
So you're not studying the brain anymore?
It's too disheartening.
Why?
The more I study the brain, the more I see its limitations. The deeper I dive, the more I notice shortcuts. Our brains are the masters of shortcuts. No one takes shortcuts more easily, more effortlessly, more remorselessly than the brain.
Okay, what do you mean?
How many triangles can you count in this image? Everyone, count the number of triangles, click on the question mark, type your answer into the text box, and press submit.
Like 8?
Actually, there are no triangles there at all. What you are seeing is a shortcut in perception. A shortcut in perception. Instead of allowing ourselves to see what's actually there, a collection of lines and blobs, our brain fills in information based on past experiences so that we can perceive familiar shapes. I challenge you to see the strange, interesting shape that's really there.
Yeah, it's like...
You can't. Even when you tell yourself to do it, you can't. And then there's memory. Memory, my God. I'd like all of you to think of your very best memory. The very best, most important memory you have.
Okay.
Close your eyes. Really, do it. The most important memory of your entire life. Tell me, what's your very best memory?
I went on a hike with my mom when I was a child. It was like a perfect day.
What day was it?
In the summer, probably June.
What did you wear?
Probably my favorite hiking boots. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. How was your mother's hair styled?
Well, she wore it short by then, I think.
And what if I were to tell you that this favorite hike you took with your mother wasn't actually a single hike, but a combination of a dozen different hikes that you took with her? 7 in June, July, and August of 2004, 4 between August and September of 2006, and then one final hike on September 1st, 2007. And that you didn't wear those favorite hiking boots because you didn't buy those until 2010. But that you added this to your memory because your brain created this memory and shortcutted it to stand in as a single representation of a series of positive occurrences. Oh, and your mother's hair was different on most of those hikes, by the way. Do you know that if your brain were a bit more robust, it could actually be hosting 12 wonderful memories for you? Instead, it's conflated them down to one, a single travel-sized memory, if you will.
Okay, well, I don't think we hiked in 2004. Like, we couldn't have.
You did, but you hadn't moved out the Berkshires yet.
Oh.
Real life is infinitely more intricate than our brains allow it to be.
Maybe that's for the best.
Maybe. It's too important for us to make sense of things, make them neat. But think of all the shapes we'll never see because of the few that we know. And think of all the days that are lost to the past.
Welcome to the podium. Hello, hello.
Hello. I found my real dice.
Ah, you've brought your own dice. I see. Okay.
24.
24. That is chance dance number 3. Now, cabaret goers, you will choreograph this dance. To choreograph it, please click on the question mark at the bottom of your screen and type into the text box 3 words, one from each of the categories you see on your screen: an element, an action, and a direction. Press submit and watch your dance emerge. Now we have our last scene. We have two choices for you. You can type your choice into the text box by clicking on the question mark. Would you like to see an end or another end? We have an end and we have another end. It's up to you. An end, another end. An end, another end. An end, another end. An end, another end. An end. Excellent, excellent. An end.
I was fired.
What?
I let the rats go.
Why?
I wanted to. I liked to watch them scurry around. It was nice for a moment, but I messed up. I let them go in the lab. I thought they would be free, but they were in the lab, so they were stuck. Because the lab is very sterile, see? There were no old nooks or crannies for them to escape into. It's very sleek and modern and minimalistic, and everything is chrome and marble. So they ran until they reached one wall, and then they turned around and ran until they reached the other wall, and then they just kept going back and forth and back and forth, and then they just stopped. Gave up. They just got slower and slower until they stopped in the middle of the room like they knew. And it was no trouble at all for me to just round them back up and put them back in their cages, but Dr. Burton said they'd been compromised, so we had to kill them.
Then what?
Then I was fired. That's it.
That's the end?
It's an end.
Our play is done, and many of you may be wondering what it all meant. In principle, we are against meaning, as I am also against principles. We leave it to you to decide what this Readymade Cabaret, a collage of scenes, dances, music, and film, means to you. A work of art should not be beauty in itself, for beauty is dead. It should be neither light nor dark to rejoice or torture the individual. A work of art is never beautiful by decree, objectively and for all. I oblige no one to follow me, and everybody practices art in their own way.
Huh? Pretty good. Friend. Good. Friend. How are you, my friend? Hey, did you hear my message? What do you do?
Hello, everyone. There's Jonathan. Great. We thought we would have a little talk back after this online performance. I know some of you are watching the YouTube stream. Some of you are here live and should feel free to click on the question mark and type your questions into the chat box. Jonathan's going to start us out with a few questions, and we'll go from there.
Before we begin, cool that we're YouTube streaming. Is anyone looking at the comment thread on there, just in case?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. We're set. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all for being here, and welcome. And this is us as humans. And so I'd love to begin with just some background, Erin, just about where this came from and how did you come up with this structure?
Okay. Great question. So I can't remember when I was in London. I went to the Barbican Museum and they had an exhibit with a lot of Dada art, music, and they had the Cunningham dancers there dancing. And I thought, oh my gosh, I love this. And I came back to New York and I said to Jessie Bear, who was the playwright for this piece, Jessie, we should do a ready-made theater piece because people have made ready-made art. They've made ready-made dances. That's what Cunningham did, as you know, and can talk about.
Do you remember what piece it was or what the process was that you were seeing?
No,
Yeah.
I don't remember. Too long ago.
Together, yeah.
But I thought no one had ever made a ready-made theater piece. We're so attached to narrative, linearity, character, growth, leading to a cathartic moment, or, I mean, that's what we're used to in the United States, right? That we don't think about how to build a theater piece through the processes of chance, right? And so I thought, well, that would be really interesting. So let's do this. So I went to Jessie and I said, okay, let's do this. And Jessie then wrote a number of scenes. Again, I can't remember how many. And they're, as you can see, they're all interconnected. So for example, today we had a lot of the scenes between Amy and Peter, right? They go on a date, they have a first date, which we later had the time they met. And before that, we had their first date. And somewhere in there, we had their last fight. We didn't today see their first fight. We then saw the lab rats that Amy talks about when she's on her first date, et cetera, et cetera. So there are ways in which you can put together different narratives depending on the scenes that are chosen and the order in which they're chosen. As you then know, obviously, we have a Dada poem, which is which we really do based completely on Tristan Zara's instructions for creating a Dada poem, which is in fact actually how we're kind of creating this Dada theater piece. And then we have aleatory compositions. And Jonathan, maybe you want to actually just explain what an aleatory composition is and
yeah, I'll do a quick note about that. And no, it's really fascinating because what you're making me think about is that there really are so many ways to do this process. And I think it's interesting to see what methodology kind of sticks depending on the medium.
Yeah.
And so in music, for instance, or so I'll take it back to the Cunningham idea. Cunningham was very interested in kind of very set material that everybody knew, that was very technical and very quite difficult to do. It wasn't sort of like how Judson dance theater was very much about anybody should be able to do this. Cunningham was like, my dancers are superheroes. However, my superhero dancers also have to be incredibly smart and think on their feet because I'm going to change the order of the steps every night. And you just have to figure that out. So it's sort of a cerebral thing, but it's a physical intelligence. In the music, and obviously Cunningham was lifelong collaborators with John Cage, who was very much exploring the musical side of this. And, you know, if you put their work side by side, you might say that just on a surface level, Cage strikes the ear as a bit more radical because you can't really recognize, like, unless you look at his sort of prepared piano pieces, like he really does take it further into the realm of like noise, all sound, silence. There is no silence. It's all valid, which is much more what the Judson dance choreographers were really thinking about when they said, I just want random people on the street to be considered dance. So that's a big divide between sort of the Cunningham ideology and the Judson one. But in the aleatory compositions, you know, this one, the way we're doing it here is it's very whimsical. You know, it's not lost on any of us that I'm wearing the court jester hat because there really is this like, what do you got for me? I'll do it. And so what I like about the aleatory, what I've learned through this process is that, yes, you do have this sort of strict structure of like a kind of sound, a kind of way of doing it. You know, there's a process. And I would say the process the rule, the dogma of the process is really what is consistently across the board true. I'm gonna come back to that. But what happens is that the music ends up sort of becoming physical or becoming theatrical, and so you have this blend of medium. So sorry, I totally missed that. Marisa, what did you ask? Where did that question go?
She asked if you have any go-to moves or notes or chords or anything, or is it truly random improvisational?
Right. So that's the thing, right? This dogma of the process. The other, I'll start with a little backstory that I've done some. There's a Cunningham dancer at Tisch Dance where I went to school, and I've since shifted to being a musician in that department. And so Rashawn Mitchell is his name. He was one of the last Cunningham dancers. And so he's every like other year we'll set a Cunningham event. So not only are the Cunningham pieces made by chance, but then you can make events out of Cunningham pieces where you Tristan Zara the Cunningham pieces, you chop up the pieces and then you make a new dance. And that's how a lot of the trust has been continuing to do Cunningham's work. Because, for instance, Cunningham said, when I die, stop. He was very interested in this, like, it's done, it's impermanent. But you have a lot of cheating is what I'm trying to get at. Even in Cunningham and Cage's process, the idea is like, oh, we made this totally separately, but I'll see you at opening night. Actually, there were some, I mean, they lived together. There were definitely some things that were known. It's hard to really stick true. And I think that's a really lovely thing about this whole Dada Readymade thing is like, how honest am I going to be? That said, when I'm doing this, I'm really trying to be as new with the actions as possible. There are some things like when I see strum, I just think claw hammer and I start doing that, like banjo technique. And but I try to use the sort of thing that I know as a way into doing something that I don't know or that has yet to be seen as a possibility.
I think that the reason I've asked Jonathan to do aleatory compositions and chance dances too is that what is interesting is that again, the music is co-created by everyone who participates in giving you prompts. And that's true for the dance as well. And so it is created by chance or, I don't know, free will, or we don't know. This whole play is an examination of questions of fate, free will, what governs our lives. And I think that's, again, the reason that we chose to bring this piece back in this historic moment during COVID is that I think many of us are saying, oh, I thought I had free will, but maybe I don't. Or am I fated to get COVID or not fated not to get COVID? Or do I have any control over this? How much does wearing a mask and social distancing help? It certainly statistically lowers the chances of getting it, but one might be fated to get it, or one might, in spite of wearing a mask, be chance to have an encounter with someone who has COVID and you get it. And so I think many people in the world right now are thinking about how are our lives controlled, constructed, and I think those are some of the same principles that are embodied in and chance dances, and in the Dada poem, and in the structure of this theater piece. Okay, Asha, eventually can we open up a podium and Asha come up and ask that?
Come on up, Asha.
The question is a bit of an oxymoron. What, let's take that part first.
No, I was a little not sure whether these pieces that you're saying are ready-made, are recorded, pre-recorded, or performed live. I assume the aleatory pieces were live because we were putting in our requests and you were doing it live. But some pieces were recorded, right?
Actually, everything was live except for 3 films. We have, and those are called ready-made film Ready-Made film number 1, Dinner Time, which you didn't see. Ready-Made film 2, What is Dada, which you didn't see. So in fact, the only pre-recorded thing you saw this evening was the mask underwater. Everything else is live.
Well, then my question is not really, it doesn't really work, because I was wondering if, if you're having a ready-made piece, then it's not really, it's almost like an oxymoron, it's not live theater then. Yeah. So I was
what
thinking.
would make it live, I would argue that what would make it live would be the choices of people saying 3, 10, so even if each of our even if each of our 27 scenes were pre-recorded, which they're actually not, but if they were, the liveness would then not be in the performing of the scenes in terms of the actors, but in the choosing of them in terms of the audience. So I would argue that would still be live.
I suppose the choreography of it would be.
Yeah, well, yeah, right. Yeah, the juxtaposition of the scenes and all of that. But in fact, actually, everything that we're doing is live. So, and I threw in films just because I thought it would be interesting. I think there's a lot of questioning going on about, we're on Shindig. Is like theater? Is this live? Is this not? Is the movie? What's the difference? So I thought it would be fun to actually have 3 film pieces in the rotation, one of which you say. But I think that the online platforms are okay. I can answer that in just one second. Oh, now I've lost my train of thought. Oh, well. Evangeline, would you put that question up? Or Mr. Joshi, do you want to come up onto the...
Thanks. Yeah, let me go.
Come on up. It's interesting to see all this random scene selection. What actually was the inspiring point in the process with actors and Shindig? I went to my 35th college reunion in June, and part of the college reunion happened on Zoom, everything world happening now, and part of it happened on this platform, Shindig. And I'm exhausted by Zoom performances because Zoom is so limiting, and this platform seemed to allow us the opportunity to do what we're doing now, which is some people can come up and talk, and some people can be in the audience. We have actually a set that we can design. Jonathan, we also have backgrounds. As you can see, we all have black backgrounds, which our set designer said, instead of doing a white background, which everyone seems to use for Zoom, instead, why don't you do black? Because that seems more like the sort of black box theater kind of thing. And so Shindig has allowed us to play with aspects of performance. And in fact, I think it was Anjum Katyal, who was here earlier, said this is the closest thing to live performance that I've experienced since March. I will say, though, as you can see, we've lost a lot of people over the course of the show because Shindig is a very high maintenance platform. I'm actually going to go ahead and say that I think it's very classist. So some people who come in need a lot of Wi-Fi bandwidth, need a very high-end computer. It's more difficult for people who are joining us from iPhones, iPads, or people with a lower, Wi-Fi bandwidth. So in that sense, we're finding it problematic. But the original inspiration was to allow us really to kind of come up on stage and then be able to come off stage and switch who was on stage and try to create an experience that was as close to live theater as possible, while also embracing. I mean, we've also talked about how what we're doing is truly experimental theater, in the sense that many people talk about, oh, I'm doing experimental theater, or doing something that's been done since the 40s, right? Beckett is no longer experimental. That was, 6 decades ago or more. 8 decades ago, something like that. You know, someone says, oh, I'm doing something like the Worcester Group or Mabou Mines. Well, they were inventing that kind of theater in 1972. So what's interesting about COVID is, as frustrating as online theater might be sometimes, is that it is offering artists an opportunity to experiment and to try to create new kinds of theater. And so that was partly also the inspiration for doing this online version of Readymade Cabaret, so that we're not doing the same old thing that we're used to. And for some people that's disorienting because it seems unfamiliar. And for some people, I think that's exciting because it's unfamiliar and new. So.
Awesome. Ooh.
Direction. Yeah. The direction process, I would say, is mainly the same, right, Jonathan? Yeah. But the instant act of creation, I would say, and then I'm going to hand it back to you, I would say that what's really hard is that no one knows what scene we're about to do until I announce it, right? So you come up, you roll the dice. I say, I look on my little scene chart, which is, you can see a little bit of it right there. And I say, you know, why you shouldn't study the brain, scene 12. And it is in that moment where the two actors who know they're in that scene hear that they're about to do it. So they quickly put on their costumes and come up, which is partly why I give you those little data quotations and ready-made quotations. I'm giving them a little brief moment to get into costume and come up to the podium. I would say that Jonathan can speak to what that feels like, although Jonathan has all the data poems, aleatory compositions, chance dances. So in that sense, I would say it's easier on him than it is on, for example, Lipika, who plays many, many roles and is doing thousands of costume changes and things like that. But Jonathan, do you want to speak to what that feels like?
Yeah, sure. I really loved how you phrased that question, the instant act of creation, because I think that's very easily understood in improvisation, or like when I studied in Europe, a lot of teachers say instant composition over there, sort of almost intertwined with improvisation, but I like to think of them as kind of separate things, because the composition implies a kind of, I know what this is going to be and I'm going to go do it, but I've never done it before. But the improvisation is just like, what's it going to be? Right? And so you get all these layers. However, I want to stretch the instant act of creation thing to generating the character, actually. And this is something that I don't really know, because I'm doing only the improvisational stuff. But I do feel like when you're working with set material, and this goes back to that question of the oxymoron of, like, you know, having scripted material versus totally chanced material, I think there's really something valuable in the live body, in all this randomness, having to, like, create a sense of coherence, and like a person who has a life for a brief instant and then back to, like, the pile of costumes or whatever. I'm over exaggerating how everyone's very organized, but yeah, I think for me it's just like opening my eyes and ears, and for others it's really like finding the file in the hard drive to, like, activate and become. It's very similar to mask work, and we've actually worked with an expert in mask work, sort of dropping in to that thing that we're doing. So it's all creation on many levels simultaneously. Yeah.
I would also say that, just to add two things to that, I want to go back to the definition of ready-made and oxymoron. Asha, I do think that, to me, it's important to be live, because if these were all filmed, then I don't see why we wouldn't just get a much better film camera and do a higher quality film shoot, right? And then kind of put them together. And that's, I think, what's happened on a lot of people are doing Zoom shows, and they're using Zoom, and then they're using OBS, and then they're filming it and pre-filming it. And I'm sort of like, if you're going to do that, just get a really good camera and just film it, make a film. What is going on? So I'm really insisting on trying to be live. And I will say that overall, I would argue this show is a ready-made show in that we have collaged together some aleatory compositions, chance dances, 3 films, some scenes with different characters, different storylines, right? And audience participation. And all of those things are being collaged together in a sort of Duchamp way, right? And so I think that there's both Dada and ready-made and sort of John Cage and Merce Cunningham, and all of these things are combining with each other in this Readymade Cabaret. And I also, there's something else I was going to say. Oh, just that, I don't know. So I'm not sure actually that it is an oxymoron, because I do think even if it were all filmed, again, what Duchamp did was to take an extant bicycle wheel and put it together with an extant stool and called it a ready-made. And so we are taking this scene from this storyline and putting it together with this dance and putting it together with this film, and they have nothing to do with each other really, but that's creating a third or fourth thing. And the audience makes the connections. And to me, this is very Russick, in the sense that we're demanding that there is an interaction between audience and performer. We are not creating a linear dramaturgical structure that leads to a cathartic moment and then a denouement. It's in that sense, you drop into this scene, you drop into that scene, you drop into the other scene, and then you put it all together. And so it really depends on the audience members to make the meaning. And I think that dropping in, I will say, to go back to your question, Shubhanka, that we did, one of the other things in the process of direction is that I've seen so many Zoom plays where people are performing like this, right? In this square. And I'm bored by that, to be completely honest. So we brought in a mask instructor, and she worked with us. And that's why you're getting some people very close to the camera, some people far away, some people over in this corner, people, making eye contact, even though really they're looking at a mark on the wall. So it's just an attempt to try to fight these boxes a little bit, to get outside the box. I think we have time for maybe one more question, if there's one more question, and then we'll head out. Or Jonathan, if there's anything else you want to say.
Well, I think I love bringing it back to the structure and, is choosing the part. Okay, here's our last question.
Okay, Mr. Joshi, come up to the podium, because is choosing the part of the direction. I mean, perhaps. I'm not sure what you mean. Come on up and ask that question. Oh, we're maybe having an internet connection issue. Yeah, right. Well, okay. So I spoke to Jessie about writing the play. She then wrote the play in a certain way. And then I have added in 9 scenes, I guess, 3 chance dances. Oh no, 10. 3 chance dances, 3 aleatory compositions, 1 Dada poem, and 3 films. And so in that sense, yes, part of directing was choosing 10 out of 27 scenes to offer, right? And then deciding that we were going to roll the dice to choose those scenes. Rolling dice is difficult for some people on Shindig. It works very well. Some people like to bring their own dice. And today I was getting a WhatsApp message from a couple of people about scenes because they're not able to come up to the podium and roll the dice. So in that sense, it's sort of giving over to chance. And And then someone's mic will go out, and so I'll get a message in our backstage WhatsApp group, so-and-so's mic is not working. Skip those scenes for now, choose other scenes. And so sometimes we have the chance element of the technology that means we can't totally be chance related when it comes to choosing the scenes, because by chance or by fate, someone's microphone has gone out. So we get back to the question then, the theme of the play is sort of embodied in how we're doing it. Are our lives structured by fate, chance, choice, do we have free will, etc.?
Yeah. And I'll just close with that I was noticing today especially that the choices carry very different amounts of certainty in consequence, right? That I feel like the most powerful act is the rolling of the dice, because that literally moves us through time. However, it's the one with the least amount of certainty, because you may get anything on top of all these other contraindications of we might need to not follow the rule because something is messed up. So it's this sort of weird disproportionate thing of I have the most power but the least control. However, then with the chance dances within that sort of stuff, you're really much more able to see your results. Though there is still a little bit of wiggle room with like how exactly will this be interpreted. And then, there was another one I thought, but it escapes me. But anyway, I feel like I would love to make a chart with all like the different ways that you get to choose how things happen. And then like, what's the level of like, I knew that was going to happen, and like satisfaction, how that's tied to that. But we have a whole nother run of shows to do, so maybe we can do that next time.
Exactly. Thank you all so much for coming and for staying and for participating and for making the show. I'm so grateful to all of you. Thank you.